Nigeria is facing an education crisis, one that begins in our primary and secondary schools, the very foundation of our nation's future. Over 20 million Nigerian children are currently out of school. That is 1 in every 5 school-age children in sub-Saharan Africa. And many of those who do attend school are not learning. My name is Molade Adeni, and I am the CEO of Teach for Nigeria. Teach for Nigeria exists to address the deep-seated educational inequities affecting millions of children across the country. As a non-profit organization and part of the global Teach for All network, we are committed to ensuring that every Nigerian child, regardless of their socio-economic background, has access to an excellent education. As a country, we have come a very long way, and we have made giant strides when it comes to education access and equity. This has been possible through collaboration with the public and private sector. However, we still have a long way to go. Children and teachers still face a host of interconnected challenges that significantly hinder learning and teaching. Some of this includes overcrowded classrooms, lack of basic infrastructure such as chairs, tables, toilets, lack of learning materials that are scarce in some places. The result is a learning crisis. Children go to school but leave without the skills needed to succeed in life. At Teach for Nigeria, we believe that addressing these challenges requires investment, reform, and a renewed societal commitment to treating education as a national policy.
Moving around, moving around, moving around. The basket of number is moving around. What number is this? Or careful, don't let that easy.
I remember
Good morning,
my first
everyone.
day in classroom with my learners.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. The beautiful morning in the city of Lagos, which is where I'm joining in from. Good morning and warm welcome, very warm welcome to the 2026 Teach for Nigeria Pre-Service Training Institute opening ceremony. Now, it might be virtual, but best believe that you would receive as much value and impact as you would have received if we were gathered together in a physical room. Thank you so much for joining us. I dare say, like I always say at every Teach for Nigeria event, this is about the best place that you can be on a Wednesday morning. To our audience on YouTube, we see you. Thank you so much. Please share the video to everyone who you know should be in this room today. So every prospective fellow who you think should be in this room today. Existing fellows are welcome as well. Members of the alumni community and the Teach for Nigeria community at large are welcome to join us on YouTube. So please share with them. I'm Precious Mobile, and it's my absolute honor to be your host for today's event. Now, our theme for the 2026 Pre-Service Training Institute, I'm tempted to ask our prospective fellows to share on YouTube, but because of our time, I'll go ahead to share. Our theme for this year's PSTI, as we call it, is One Vision, Endless Possibilities, Inspired to Lead, Ready to Transform. I'm super excited to welcome our 10th cohorts who are joining a phenomenal community of over 450 existing fellows across Nigeria. As we welcome you today, you already know that you are joining in as not just teachers, but as teacher leaders. Now, before I get ahead of myself, permit me to warmly welcome esteemed members of the Teach for Nigeria board, our Chief Executive Officer at Teach for Nigeria, Molade Adeni, honorable members of the Teach for Nigeria team. I see you all on Zoom and some on YouTube. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Members of the Teach for Nigeria alumni community, you're welcome. Current fellows, and of course, the reasons why we are here today, our freshly baked, brand new 2026 Teach for Nigeria Prospective Fellows. With over 35,000 expressions of interest and over 8,000 applications, I think you deserve to pat yourself on the back. You have done so much. You have worked so hard, and it's been quite a journey. But I am delighted to welcome you here. And I'm sure that as we go through today's event, you'll hear from leaders who are delighted and excited to welcome you on board. Now, the Pre-Service Training Institute, as you might have heard, is your entry point into the fellowship. But before I go into all of that, it would be very wrong for me to proceed without acknowledging the esteemed presence of our government partners, pillars without whom the work that we do at Teach for Nigeria would be difficult or maybe impossible. It's my pleasure to acknowledge the honorable presence of the Honorable Commissioner, Ogun State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, who is ably represented by Dr. Luke Mankairisi, Special Advisor to the Governor on Education. We also have Mrs. Victoria Mupelola Peregrino, the Executive Chairman of Lagos State Teaching Service Commission. Welcome, Ma. I see you in the Zoom room. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have with us as well Evangelist Olaleko Infede, who is the Executive Chairman, Ogun State Universal Education Board. Thank you so much for joining us. We also have with us Dr. Mrs. Kola Adeleye, Director of Policy, Plans, Research and Statistics, Lagos Tescom. Thank you so much, ma'am. With us in the house today is Mr. Olugbenga Adejompe, Director, Appeal, Petition and Discipline, Ogun State Tescom. And last but definitely not the least, we have with us Mrs. Taiwo Olusheyi Oke, Director, Monitoring and Evaluation Department, Ogun State Subib. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, our government partners. We acknowledge and we appreciate you. We thank you for all the work that you do for us, with us, and we thank you for always opening your doors when we knock. Thank you so much. Now, to our prospective fellows, we have over 440 of you, young graduates. We have over 113 existing teachers, and we have over 95 school leadership development leaders. We welcome you. We welcome you. For the Pre-Service Training Institute, I mean, this is your first week already. You know that it's a 6-week hybrid training that exists for just one reason. And that reason is to prepare you not just to teach, but to lead and transform your placement communities. Notice that we did not just say your classroom. We say and we emphasize your impact on your communities. The Pre-Service Training Institute is the foundation on which the entire 2-year journey is built on. So this is a special moment. As a Teach for Nigeria fellow, you would also join Teach for All global network of 60 plus independent, locally led organizations working towards the same vision. Every child, everywhere, deserves access to an excellent education. To our incoming cohort 6 of school leaders, you are definitely not left behind. We warmly and specially welcome you to something very special. You are joining us in 2026 at a milestone moment, because this is the very first year where we onboard our Lagos State school leaders who will be joining alongside our existing Ogun State cohorts. You are stepping into very big shoes, but we are very certain that these are shoes that you can fill. To take us further on today's agenda, today's event, if you're just joining us, welcome, warmly welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome our Chief Executive Officer at Teach for Nigeria, Molade Adeniyi, for her welcome address. Molade, if you're ready, we are ready to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Precious. I wonder, did we miss off the national anthem for our start? Do you want to lead us in that? Should we just take the national anthem? Let's officially open this.
All right. Thank you so much, Molade. Apologies for the oversight. Our technical team, if you are ready, we would be willing to recite it. So if you want to play, then we can start to recite that. Thank you. Our
Technical
technical
team,
team on standby.
can we confirm that's coming up?
Nigeria, we healthy, our own native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all and proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Precious. Um, Please confirm that you can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Awesome. Awesome. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. A very, very warm welcome to the 2026 Pre-Service Training Institute opening ceremony. I am so excited and so happy to have everyone here. Thank you, Precious, for setting the protocol for us. But it would be wrong of me if I do not acknowledge specifically various people that are in the room, our partners, our supporters, starting from the Honorable Commissioner, Professor Abayomi Aribabu, the Honorable Commissioner of Ogun State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, who is ably represented today by Dr. Lukman Kiadeshe. I apologize if I spelled that wrong. Special Advisor to the Governor on Education, um, Mrs. Victoria Mokwelola Peregrino, who has been such an amazing support. I know she's in the room already. The Executive Chairman, Lagos State Teaching Service Commission. Thank you so much, Ma, for all your support, for always championing our work. We couldn't have done any of this without you. Evangelist Olaleko Ifede, the Executive Chairman, Ogun State Universal Basic Board. Dr. Mrs. Bukola Adeleye, Director, Policy Plans Research and Statistics, Lagos TESCOM. Door is always open. She's always ready to hear us. Thank you so much, ma. Mr. Olubenga Adejonkwe, Director, Appeal, Petition and Discipline, Ogun TESCOM. Again, another amazing friend of the house who ensures and a school leader fellow, if I may add. Thank you so much, sir. Mrs. Taiwo Oluseyi Oke, Director, Monitoring and Evaluation Department, Ogun Subeb. And of course, our amazing keynote, who is yet to come in, Dr. Modupe Adefeso Olateju, Dr. Mo, as I like to call her. She's a fellow at the Brookings Institute and the founder of the TEP Center. To the members of the amazing Teach for Nigeria board who continue to push us, support us, ensure that we stay on the straight and narrow, provide strategic oversight. Thank you so much. To all our partners, our donors, all friends of Teach for Nigeria, Teach for Nigeria staff who make the magic happen every single day. Our prospective fellows and school leaders, distinguished ladies and gentlemen who are joining us virtually. I would like to see in the chat room on YouTube the round of applause, the emojis, the excitement. I know that the fellows, the prospective fellows are on there. So let me see how excited you are that you are joining today at the 2026 Pre-Service Institute. Come on, I'm waiting for those emojis. I'm waiting for those emojis. I'm waiting for those emojis. Thank you all so much. I'm going to just run very quickly. My excitement cannot be contained, so I had to write down my speech. Otherwise, I could be here for the next 20 minutes. Then Precious will have to turn off my microphone at some point. But it is with immense joy that I welcome you all to the official opening of the 2026 Teach for Nigeria Pre-Service Training Institute, we fondly call PSTI. To all of our friends, partners, donors, board members, and of course, our new fellows and school leaders, welcome. I have been looking forward to this morning for a long time. Let me be honest with you, I actually didn't sleep much last night. That's how much excited that I was. And not because it's a new cohort, but I have been looking forward to seeing all the excitement, all the new faces, because I know that behind every single face of a prospective fellow or a school leader is a decision. And I do not take that decision lightly. A decision to join hands to ensure education equity in our dear country, Nigeria. This year, we received an incredible, and I say incredible, we received an incredible 38,246 applications from aspiring young leaders across Nigeria. These are leaders who expressed interest in joining our fellowship. Following a rigorous and highly competitive selection process, 1,477 of them progressed to the final evaluation stage, and ultimately 682 received fellowship offers. And yes, you are one of them. You need to give yourself a round of applause and pat yourself on the back. You really should be very proud. For the last 9 years, we have been building a movement of leaders committed to transforming education. Together with our fellows, alumni, school leaders, government partners, communities, and supporters, we have recruited and trained and placed 2,965 parents. We have reached more than 450,000 children. We have trained over 20,000 teachers across 29 states. And we have built a vibrant network of 1,622 alumni who continue to drive change across education, government, business, and civil society. And today, each of you is joining that movement because you said yes. You said yes when you had other options. Some of you turned down offers that could have paid you more. Some of you had to explain the decision to a parent or to a spouse or to a friend who didn't quite understand what you were doing when you said you were going to do the Teach for Nigeria Fellowship. And I'm sure some of you are probably still explaining it. And some of you are here, not fully sure what you have signed up for. You just know that something in you will not let you walk away from it. But you know, whatever brought you here, I want to say thank you for saying yes. I want to speak directly to our school leaders for a moment. They are not arriving here empty-handed. You are already doing work. You are already leading schools. You are already holding communities together. You are already carrying responsibilities that most people never see, and often without anyone stopping to say well done. But I want to stop today and say thank you and well done to all the school leaders in the room. Please, let's give them a round of applause. Let's share some amazing emojis to celebrate them as well. And what strikes me most is this. You did not join because you have run out of things to do. You're very busy. You joined because you want more for your schools. You looked at what you had already built and you asked, what else is possible? That appetite and willingness to keep learning when you could easily have settled is admirable. That is leadership. In the months ahead, you would learn from us, yes, but we will also learn from each other. You will share what is working in your school with a leader who has been struggling with the very same thing. You will borrow ideas. You would, lend ideas. Some of the best thinking in this fellowship will not come from a facilitator at the front of the room. It would come from you, a fellow, you, a school leader, who is turning to the other person and saying, let me tell you what we've done before. I cannot wait to see how your schools will transform. Because the school is not just a building where lesson happens. A school is a place where children come to learn, to laugh, to be safe, and to thrive. You set that tone and you have just decided to set it higher. Now, someone may be asking, why does all this matter? Why does the fellowship even matter? We talk a lot about numbers in this work, and numbers are good. Millions of children out of school, learning poverty rates, statistics so large that sometimes they don't even mean anything anymore. But let me make it smaller and more meaningful why this work is important. Because of your decision today, one child will be better off. Because you said yes, one child who was falling behind will finally have someone who notices. Because you showed up and you continue to show up, one child would learn to read this year, today, not next year, not in 2 years, but this year. Because you are here, one child will find her voice. She will raise her hand for the first time, answer in front of the whole class, get it right, and something will shift in her when she sees herself. Because of you, one child will look at his teacher and think, maybe I can do that too. One child and then another and then another. That's how this work gets done. One classroom at a time. On an ordinary Wednesday morning when nobody is watching, and it could be, and it would really be easier not to try, but you decided to say yes. So what will happen over the next 6 weeks of the Pre-Service Training Institute? It's not just a formality. It's not something to sit through before the real work begins. This is the real work beginning. Over this institute, you will study the problem itself, not just what educational equity looks like or inequity looks like, but why it exists. How poverty shapes a child's chances long before she ever enters your classroom, and what your role in changing that will be. You will learn a theory of change and the values we hold ourselves to. You will learn what makes a great leader, how to plan a lesson properly, how to run a classroom, how to tell whether a child has actually understood something, and what to do when he or she does not. You will be trained in leadership and in enterprise because we are not only preparing you to teach, just as Precious said earlier, we are preparing you to lead. And you will spend time in communities, not observing from a distance, but sitting with people, listening, learning what they already know about their own children. Here is what I know, and I want you to understand about Institute. You will not leave here the same person who walked in. One of our alumni described it better than I can. She said, and I quote, I arrived at the Institute as myself and left as a teacher leader. So I urge you to come with your whole self. Ask the hard questions. Be curious. Be open to new ideas and be ready to be changed. I also owe you some honesty. There will be days when you plan a beautiful lesson and nothing goes the way you imagined. This will not always be easy. There will be days when the resources are not there. When a child that you have poured into does not come to school. When you have tried in every way and the step does not seem to work. Those days will come. I would not pretend otherwise. But this will also be one of the richest experiences you will ever have. You would learn more about leadership in 2 years than most people learn in 10 years. You will discover strengths you did not know you had, and you will never forget it. Now lift up your eyes past the 2 years for a moment before beyond the fellowship. Our alumni are doing amazing things today, and that's where we want you to go. 2 years from now, you will join them, and today is where it starts. As you journey into the fellowship, you do not have to carry it alone. Teach for Nigeria is here for you, not just today, while everything is new, shiny, and exciting, but on the hard days too. We will celebrate you when you win. Tell us. Let us make noise about it. And when you struggle, tell us that too. This is not weakness, but exactly how this is designed to work. Your coaches are there for you. Use them. Do not wait until things fall apart to make the call. Our year 2 fellows are also here to support you. They sat in your seats not too long ago. And of course, your fellows are here as well. So thank you again. Thank you for saying yes. Before I close, there are people I must thank. And I know that, it feels like we've thanked them enough, but we can never say enough thank you. To our government partners, thank you for your continued trust and collaboration. We would not be able to do this without your wavering support and trust. Thank you for the opportunity to do this important work alongside you. To our partners, to our donors and our supporters, thank you for believing in this vision and backing it with more than words. To our esteemed board, led by our amazing chairman, Mr. Kunle Lebute, thank you for your guidance, your challenge, and your steady commitment. To our institute facilitators here present, we say thank you for giving of your time and expertise to ensure that our incoming fellows are ready for the journey ahead. To all our friends who have come to celebrate with us, thank you for always being there for us. And lastly, but certainly not least, to the Teach for Nigeria team, the people who made this all possible through diligence, hard work, and a commitment that cannot be measured. Thank you. You do not always get the applause, but today I want to stop and publicly appreciate you all. Everyone in this room is here for one reason, so that one day every Nigerian child will have the opportunity to attain an excellent education. That day may not be here yet, but it's closer than it was yesterday. because you came this morning. So, fellows, school leaders, the children are waiting. Let's get to work. Welcome to the 2026 Teach for Nigeria Pre-Service Training Institute. Thank you all so much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mola J. The chats are buzzing on YouTube, and our prospective fellows are grateful and they are super excited. Permit me to break protocol. I'm just going to hail all our prospective fellows on YouTube. So Team Garnet, Team Ruby, Team Diamond, Sapphire, Pearl, Amethyst, Turquoise, Agate, Aquamarine, Emerald, Jade, Jasper, and Topaz. Thank you so much for bombarding us with the green loves, the red loves, the diamond gems, the fire emojis. Pearl says they are prepared for impact. For Amethyst is purple love. For turquoise is the eagle. This is one of the very interesting aspects of PSTI for me. And I'm super excited for the physical aspect of PSTI because we are in for something phenomenal and outstanding. Thank you so much. And please keep the energy coming. Before we proceed, it's my pleasure to acknowledge the presence of some very distinguished guests in our midst. I'm glad to welcome Vanessa Mohasso, who is the Senior Director for Africa Teach for All. And I see that our keynote speaker, Dr. Mojupe Mo Adefeso Olateju, is also in the house. Thank you so much, ma'ams, for joining us. To take us further in today's session, for our prospective fellows and school leaders, we know that for some of you, the journey began in 2026. It's been a long journey. Maybe you could call it a rigorous journey. For some of us at Teach for Nigeria, the journey began before 2026, right? And I could take you on that, but I think there's someone who would do it better than me. It's my pleasure to welcome Richard Adefusi, the head of recruitment, selection, and matriculation at Teach for Nigeria, to just walk us through what the 2026 recruitment, selection, and matriculation process has been like. Richard, if you're ready, we are. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Precious. Please, can you confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, once again, and please permit me to maintain the already established protocols. I'm here to give an overview of what the recruitment cycle look like for 2026, and I believe Molade already set the background for what I'm going to be sharing today very briefly. This year we set out with a big goal, and the goal was to recruit and place 550 fellows into the Teach for Nigeria Fellowship Program across Lagos and Ogun State. And yes, we got an amazing interest and application from applicants. We got over 35,000 applications from all across Nigeria, across the 6 states in the country. But then we only have 550 slots. So to narrow down the number, our applicants went through a rigorous process, 4 different stages. The application review stage, the online aptitude test, the instruction leadership assessment, and also the hybrid final evaluation. So across these stages, the stage is designed to help us select the best among the best. We will say for everyone that has indicated interest in being a part of the fellowship program, we understand that we agree and understand that they have what it takes to be a part of the change that we are driving and what we intend to see in those communities across the communities where our fellows currently work. So I'll just quickly run through some of the numbers, interesting numbers. We got over 38,000 applications, and among those applications, the only 22,000 plus of them were eligible to apply. So with constant follow-up, we're able to, we received in total 8,400 plus applications, people that now went ahead to complete their application. And like I mentioned, we could only invite a little of them to the online test phase, because we have a number, a small number to achieve. 3,000 plus got to write the test. And for the next phase, which is the instructional leadership assessment, we also got close to 2,000 applicants who moved on to that phase. And we invited um, over 1,500 to the in-person final evaluation, sorry, the hybrid final evaluation. And finally, we're able to like issue out over 580 offers. And currently, we have about 550 applicants currently undergoing the training institute activities. So yes, this year it's been the interest we got this year was really overwhelming. And I think one thing that we're taking away from this at the recruitment team is seeing that there's been a shift in the way the youths of Nigeria, the Nigerian youths, the way they are seeing the work that we are doing. They are coming up, rising up to take their rightful place in terms of leading sustainable change in Nigeria across every other sector. And we're really happy to see the interest growing in the educational ecosystem. We believe that with these people, we can actually achieve the change we want to achieve in the education ecosystem in Nigeria. I want to say big congratulations to all the prospective fellows here today. Congratulations to you for making it through. You passed through these rigorous stages, and it's really interesting to see that um, from that number, 38,000 plus, bringing it down to 550, which means the slot you got now is really competitive, and I think you deserve an applause. So please feel free to pat yourself in the back and say well done, because you really did amazing and you did well. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening. And Precious, I will hand over back to you.
Thank you so much, Richard. Thank you so much, Richard. If you're a prospective fellow in the room, again, please pat yourself in the back. Please give yourself your flowers. In fact, give yourself an entire garden. Being in this room today, out of over 38,000 people, is no coincidence. As Richard was speaking, I had to think back, to our promise with the Teach for Nigeria Fellowship about how it's more than a program and how it is an invitation to become a positive force in the lives of Nigeria's children. As Molade said, with the Teach for Nigeria Fellowship, with the Pre-Service Training Institute, you can be sure that you will learn more about leadership, that in 2 years than some will learn in a decade. So it's no coincidence that you are here. We are delighted to have you here. And thank you so much, Richard, for walking us through the numbers. Very quickly, we would be receiving our keynote address. And to take us on that is Dr. Mojupemo Adefeso Olateju, who is a fellow at Brookings Institute and founder of the Education Partnerships Center. Before she comes up, please permit me to read an abridged version of her bio. Dr. Mojupemo Adefeso Olateju is a fellow at the Brookings Institution Center for Universal Education, where she leads the Network for Education Systems Transformation, an 11-country partnership with the Global South, exploring how education systems can transform to support a breadth of skills in learners. She founded the Education Partnership Center, directing applied education research across Africa for over a decade, including co-leading Learn Nigeria, a citizen-led assessment, advocacy, and action program, generating evidence on foundational learning. As an appointee to Nigeria's 3-person Presidential Policy Advisory Council, she helped articulate national education priorities for the current government and previously co-developed the country's national strategic plan. Dr. Mo has extensive board leadership experience. She chairs the board of Malala Fund US and serves on the board of Fab AI in Geneva, Human Capital Africa, and Slum to School Africa. Dr. Mo sits on the Global Advisory Council of the Teach for All Global Institute in Singapore and is a fellow of the Asia Global Institute at Hong Kong University. Dr. Mo previously held roles on the board of the Commonwealth Youth Exchange Council in the UK, was a commissioner on the Global Commission on Evidence to address societal challenges in Kenya, and served on the steering committee for enhancing education research in Africa. Ladies, gentlemen, honorable guests in our midst, members of the Teach for Nigeria Network and the Teach for All Network in our midst, please, with a rousing and generous applause, make welcome Dr. Modupemo Adefeso Olateju for her keynote address. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are ready, we are. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow. What can I say? It is such an incredible pleasure to be here with you all today. And I am so glad that I was invited to participate in this momentous occasion today. First of all, I would like to say thank you. Thank you to the chairman of Teach for Nigeria, Mr. Kunle Bute, to the other members of the board, to your indefatigable CEO, Malade Adeni, to all the members of staff, to the families of the fellows that are here, but most of all, to the men and the women who are graduating today. And I want to say good morning and congratulations. I'm going to start by telling you a little story. And it's a story that is true, a story that happened in 2016, 2017. At the time, my colleagues and I at the Education Partnership Center decided that we wanted to hold a mirror up to Nigeria's education system. And we wanted the system to behold itself and see what the impact of its investment in education really was. And we decided that the way to do this was through data. And so we designed an assessment, and we collaborated with many partners in the government, in civil society organizations, in the private sector, and we marched out to 21,000 households across Nigeria. We went into all the geopolitical zones and we found 41,000 children, and we surveyed each and every single one of them. You know, when we set out on that journey, we thought, well, we know that learning outcomes are not great in the country, but we believe that we're going to find many, many, many rays of hope. We didn't. What we found was a situation where 25% of children who were in primary 6 were not able to read at the level of an 8-year-old. Indeed, only 16% of children who were in primary 3 were able to read at the level of an 8-year-old. And just 55%, barely half of the 14-year-olds whom we surveyed and assessed, were able to read at the level of an 8-year-old. Not a very cheerful picture. And in the years after that, we spent a long time contemplating, what could the challenge have been? What did we see? What did we find? What was it that caused this really abominable situation where so few children were receiving the promise that our education system had said that they would receive? In every single one of those classrooms and every single one of those homes that we visited, what we found was a system that was actually framed to fail. It was set up thinking that it was going to support and help these children, but it was actually, largely speaking, failing the children. But there were some situations where we found tiny rays of hope, where children would show up in spite of their poverty, and we would give them the material to read and they would read it and complete it, where we would give them the sums and they would calculate those sums. And in every one of those situations, we found a combination of two factors. One, parents that refused to give up, and two, teachers that showed up and fought for their children. I too trained as a teacher. I graduated from a bachelor's degree in education in the year 1999. So I know what it is that you have been through. I know how you have had to learn about syllabus, syllabi, curriculum, pedagogy, psychomotor skills, affective skills. I know all about that. But I also know that in the last few days, I have somehow found intrigue in historical war movies, and I've been watching quite a few of them in my spare time. And I'd like to draw an analogy between what I'm watching in those gory, bloody, really tense movies and what it is that I see before me today. Because as far as I am concerned, this is what you have become. You're fighters now. And the things that you're walking out to face are real enemies. They have names. Illiteracy has a name. Ignorance has a name. Low expectations of children has a name. That quiet belief whispered over a child that does not have financial resources, that you're not worth the effort. And in that dangerous idea that a Nigerian child owes nothing to Nigeria, those are enemies. They are the real enemies that you as warriors are going out to fight. And your weapon is a lesson that you have taught well. Your weapon is your continuing hope in the potential that every child holds, regardless of whether that child comes from a wealthy family or a poorer family, regardless of the neurodiversity scale that that child lands on, regardless of whether that child has a physical disability or does not, you are wielding, like every soldier, a weapon. And I believe that you are going to use that weapon well. But the war you're fighting didn't start today. You joined a fight that began long before you. And as I looked at the data about Teach for Nigeria, my heart swelled with pride because people have walked for the last several years into some of the toughest classrooms in this country, and they have stayed. Teach for Nigeria has placed almost 3,000 fellows in public primary and secondary schools across Lagos, Ogun, Kaduna, or your states. You've stood inside more than 600 public classrooms and trained over 20,000 teachers across 30 states. And in all of that, and I need you to reflect on this number, you've reached 546 children, 446,546 children. And notice that I'm not rounding that up. I'm not saying you've reached 450,000 children. No, because every one of them is a person. Everyone has a name, everyone has a face, and a life that became better because a Teach for Nigeria fellow stood in front of a classroom and fought for them. I am aware of a study that was conducted by RAND many years ago. I was actually consulted during that time. And RAND measured the impact of Teach for Nigeria's work. So the children that were taught by Teach for Nigeria fellows gained 2 to 3 extra months of learning in literacy. They gained 2 to 5 extra months in math. And this is above children in the same school who did not have the opportunity to be taught by a fellow. Think about it. One child in one classroom gains 2 to 3 extra months in literacy and 5 extra months in maths in the same school. The difference is the teacher that stood before them. So you're teaching them, but at the same time, what you're really doing is you're buying back the time that this educational system was not able to provide for these children. There is a term that is very often used in the education and international development field, and that term is called learning poverty. I'm sure some of you have heard. Learning poverty tells us that 9 out of 10 children in sub-Saharan Africa cannot read by the time they are 10. Data like the Learn Nigeria data buttresses the point that we are in a learning crisis. The world is also struggling to provide children with the breadth of skills that they so desperately need. I know this because it's my day job. My day job is building the field of education systems transformation so that children can access and demonstrate the skills that they need to thrive in a world that is changing. So, what are those skills? They need literacy, they need numeracy, but then they also need social emotional skills. They need to develop their physical well being. We need to think about metacognition, about culture, about the arts, about technology, and about science. Yet, by the end of last year, 68% of the children taught by people like you in Teach for All had reached grade level proficiency in literacy and numeracy. Juxtapose those numbers. 9 out of 10 children in sub-Saharan Africa, children that look very much like the children in your classroom, many of them had not reached even the minimum proficiency level. 9 out of 10. But you have succeeded in ensuring that 68% of children under your care are reaching that grade level proficiency in literacy and math. But then we're also seeing that 67% of children are showing real strength and confidence when it comes to self-awareness, working with others. In fact, when you asked school heads, Rand did this, that the people who watch every classroom and owe us nothing, when we ask those people, 94% of them said, our fellows have made their classrooms better. And this is the reputation that you are inheriting. Regular Nigerians like you in the fellowship who fought and won a battle by choosing the hard thing. But today it's your turn because 550 of you are completing this institute. And if you can, I want you to look around you because this is your battalion. You're going to march with these faces and you're going to remember them. You have earned your place here. You've worked very hard. You've woken up early in the morning and you've studied late at night. You've written lesson plans and they are not easy to write if any teacher knows that. And sometimes you've gotten feedback that really hurt because it was true. Sometimes you've wondered whether, yeah, is this for me at all? Or maybe I should do something else. The truth of the matter is that discipline is important, and you have shown that you have that discipline. It's never meant to be easy, but at the end of the day, it is meant to work. Let me give you one more reference from a book called Clever Lads. A lady called Lucy Crehan. She went and she lived inside some of the best school systems on earth. She went to Finland and Singapore, Japan, Shanghai, Canada, and she went looking for the secret of what made an effective education system. And what she found was an answer that was almost boring in how simple it was. What was the answer? The great systems earn their greatness through one thing above all, and that is how seriously they take the teacher, how they choose the teacher, how they train the teacher, how they trust the teacher, and how they treat the job of a teacher as a profession that is worthy of respect. Struggling systems will treat teaching like a job that you take when everything else fails. But the truth of the matter is that the line between a nation that rises and a nation that is struggling, that line runs through the teacher. And ultimately, you are representing those incredible teachers that have been trained, that have been entrusted, and that have become professionals that are worthy of respect. But above all, there is one characteristic that distinguishes the teachers within the Teach for All and the Teach for Nigeria Fellowship from many of the other teachers that we're going to find in our country and on our continent today. And that is the fact that you want to be here. You are not simply a recipient of a system that failed you. You are people that chose children and you chose to be in the classroom. And for that, I commend you. So, what is tomorrow going to look like? Some of you might be going to villages, some of you might be going to peri-urban locations where the road runs out before the school begins and you're going to have to trek really long distances in order to get to school. Some of you maybe not, but some of you may be. You're going to find yourself sometimes in classrooms where you have up to 70 children. And you're going to look at that chalkboard and you're going to say to yourself, what on earth have I committed to? For some of you, you're going to teach children whose parents have never been to school. You're going to teach children who don't have a single book in their homes. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to change that child. There is a finding in research that I think is so important to highlight. And that is that a genuinely good teacher will make up for years of a child's disadvantage. Everything that was taken from that child before they met you, that poverty, the missed schooling, the children out of school who haven't had the opportunity to be there, the low expectations that I referred to earlier in this talk, a great teacher can reverse it. And you are ultimately the correction that that child has been waiting for. So this is the future. This is the future that you're walking into. It's a campaign and it's a battle. And I tell you the truth because warriors deserve the truth. It's going to be tough. But every day you're going to look back and say to yourself, was it worth it? Yes, it was worth it. One day, professionals are going to walk up to you and they're going to say, hello, miss, hello, mister. And you're going to look at them and say, I don't know you. Who are you? And they're going to say, I am little Dari. I'm little, what's it day? I'm little Ahmed, whom you taught 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And they're going to say something that every teacher wants to hear. They're going to say, thank you. Thank you for what you did. Thank you for the way that you showed up. Thank you because you were tired and you were exhausted, but you showed up. Thank you because you didn't have to be in our classroom, but you chose to be in our classroom. Your alumni have shown you what comes after the fight. More than 8 in 10 of them are still working in education. They're choosing to stay in education. In fact, many of them have built organizations of their own in order to ensure that the battle continues. And so this work is going to continue. After this fellowship ends, you're starting. You're joining 1,414 people who came before you and who are keeping the weapon raised. And next year, you're also going to hand the baton over to another cohort of fellows. So my charge to you, as you go to your schools, as you go to these children, is to recognize that you're a fighter, you're a warrior, but you're not fighting alone. You're fighting illiteracy, and you're going to fight it to the ground. You're fighting ignorance, and you must vanquish it. You're fighting for Nigeria, not just a country or geographical space, but you're fighting for the children of Nigeria that one day will be proud to call themselves Nigerians and will be proud that you are the teacher that chose them. On that note, I want to say congratulations, fellows. Go, fight, win, and be proud. I am rooting for you, and I know that the entire community of Teach for Nigeria is also rooting for you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was inspiring. That was thoughtful. Thank you for giving your heart to this keynote speech. There's so much to glean, so much to take. The YouTube section, comment section is buzzing with reflections from our prospective fellows. Thank you so much for just painting what I think is a very ideal picture of what our prospective fellows in the room today can expect. And thank you for also lending your voice to the phenomenal work that Teach for Nigeria does. It just takes me back to what our CEO always says about how the work that we do is difficult. Thank you for telling us how that a genuinely good teacher would make up and can make up for years of a child's disadvantaged learning. To our PS, to our school leaders in this room, you are the great teachers, and we are trusting that you can reverse all of the disadvantages that Nigerian children have experienced. You can do that with the work that we are entrusting you to do in the classroom, and of course, to our school leaders, with the work that you have already begun in the classroom. Thank you so much, Dr. Mo. We are grateful. I wish you could see the YouTube chat. We are genuinely grateful for a timely and a succinctly described keynote address. Thank you so much, Ma. And we could take a moment for this, but because we are pressed for time, we have to proceed. Right. Our technical team, we hope you are ready. To our prospective fellows, we know that we tell you a lot about what to expect at the physical aspect of the Pre-Service Training Institute. I know that you are currently experiencing the virtual aspects, but if I dare say so, the physical aspect has so much more. And we know that you are imagining you might be anxious, you might be unsure when we say we got you covered. So our technical team for, I think, 2 to 3 minutes will just give us a very brief overview of what 2025 Institute was like. So I indulge you to please fix your eyes to the screen as they share. Thank you.
When we think about how do I become the best version of myself, first of all, it comes through habits and it comes through being highly effective. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. When you're thinking win-win, you're really thinking about how do I build better relationships. When your learners understand that we're in this together, it's a trusted relationship, you begin to see more trust. A win-win builds trust between people.
We are not a teacher recruitment agency. We do not recruit teachers, but what? We recruit leaders that will transform the education system. We are saying that we are bringing quality education to children. Yes, but do you know that you are also building your own leadership?
At Teach for Nigeria, we are very intentional with everything we do. Even when you sleep, we reflect on it. What did you learn from the way you slept? So you need to know how we practice reflection at Teach for Nigeria. When you reflect, you're able to understand where you are, where you want to be, and the gap that exists between where you are and where you want to be.
Thank you so much to our technical team, and thank you so much, our PFs. I hope that you are feeling more enthusiastic. I mean, I was here last year in person, and just watching the video again was a nostalgic moment for me. So you can definitely expect insightful sessions. You can expect to be engaged. Will it be rigorous? Yes. Would it be demanding? Yes. But would it be worth every bit of your time? Would you leave better than you came? A resounding yes to that. And just like our programs director said, Teach for Nigeria is not a teacher recruitment agency, right? We set out to recruit leaders, and we are excited and grateful that you have chosen to say yes to this journey. Thank you so much to our technical team for that video. And I'd like to take feedback from you too. Just like to learn what the pulse is like. What are you feeling? What's going through your head? You're going to be spending 3 weeks and 3 days with the Teach for Nigeria team in person. And I'm sure your mind can now go to rest when we say that we have got you covered. To take us further, we'll be receiving goodwill messages. And for the very first goodwill message, it's my absolute pleasure to warmly welcome the board chairman at Teach for Nigeria, Mr. Kunle Elebute, for his goodwill message. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, and good morning to everybody. Good morning to all our fellows who are joining this program for 2026, as well as to the 100 existing teachers and also to the school leaders. I'd like to say, welcome and thank you for, deciding to make an investment over the next 2 years in the Teach for Nigeria, fellowship program. And as you've heard, what we're going to do over these next 2 years is to equip you with the knowledge, skills, and leadership mindset. We're not a recruitment agency for teachers, as you've heard over and over again, and we'll keep on saying so. But you as fellows will embark upon a journey where you are required to transform learning outcomes and well as drive educational equity across Lagos and Ogun states. The road ahead is long, but a fulfilling one. And you'll be very surprised how 2 years will suddenly just go past. So we'd like you to please stay the course and be committed. We want to say a big thank you for joining this movement as we work together towards educational equity. I'd like to thank our partners, government and donors, as well as all the facilitators who will train you at PSTI for their continued support. I'd also like to appreciate our keynote speaker, Dr. Modupe Professor Olateju, fellow at Brookings Institute, founder of the Educational Partnership Center. Thank you, Madam, for a very insightful discussion and presentation, and the very practical, word of advice to our fellows. Even though she's based in the US, she agreed to accept our invitation and give an inspiring keynote to our incoming fellows. Finally, I'd like to thank our Teach for Nigeria staff who have been working behind the scenes for months to get this training up and running and to do all the coordination and all the logistics. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, but most importantly, for all our fellows for the next 2 years, I wish you all the very best. And I'm sure that you will definitely come out of this 2-year program, with a much stronger passion for leadership in Nigeria and to be able to, transform education across Nigeria. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Our PFs are also saying thank you on YouTube. Thank you so much, sir, for your goodwill message. To take us on the very next goodwill message, we'll be receiving Mrs. Victoria Upelola Peregrino, Chairman, Lagos State TESCOM. You are warmly welcome, Ma, if you're in the room. Thank you so much for joining us, and we would receive you now.
Thank you so much for having me. Before I go, and I'll say that I'm on the road to Ikorodu. So when you hear hooting of vehicles, you know that I am on the road. I'm going for another assignment at Ikorodu. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So I recognize the CEO, TFN, the board of directors, ably led by Mr. Lekute, the guest speaker that has actually dissected, the teaching and all its benefits, all the challenges and how to overcome them. Thank you very much. I recognize the Commissioner of Education from Ogun State, ably represented. All other stakeholders, I want to adopt the very well-established protocol. I'm so excited, I can even feel the excitement in the whole room, and I can feel the energy, that is charged. And I will say that I'm so proud to say that I am a professional teacher from A to Z. I've never done any work in my life but teaching, and I've been doing that for the past over 70 years on this great earth. So I really want to congratulate the 550 that are selected from over 38,000 applicants. I quickly made a calculation and I said that is 0.014%. So you are just 0.014% of the applicants. So a big congratulations for being selected to participate in this very laudable, life-changing program. The theme of this program is very, very inspiring. You see, it reminds us that lasting transformation begins from a shared vision. when educators, school leaders, governments, and development partners are united by a common purpose, there is no limit to accomplishment to our learners and our society in general. There's a saying that if you see any economy that is developed, any system that is working, check the education system. So teachers, we are the pillars of all whatever development that comes in. And if you see any other society that is failing, go and check the education system. So you have made a very good choice to come into the teaching profession. I'm so very proud to be a teacher. As I told you, I'm going to open a training workshop in Cohort now. And anytime I go, when I finish my opening speech, many students will just flock around me and they'll be telling me, some of them, I was your student at so. You were my principal at so. And you see, it gives me fulfillment that I have really impacted positively on the society. So welcome to the noble profession. It is only teaching profession that is called noble profession. Today, the world is changing faster than ever before. Technology, artificial intelligence, digital learning, global citizenship, and emerging workshop realities continue to redefine education. Consequently, our schools require leaders who are innovative, resilient, collaborative, ethical, and committed to continuous professional growth. And that is what TFN is doing. Train you for 2 years. This pre-service training is therefore a leadership development experience designed to prepare you to make meaningful contribution to teaching and learning, to strengthen school improvement, to strengthen even your community where you are, impact positively, motivate, promote inclusive education. Just as we are being in Lagos State, nobody is left behind in our Teams Plus agenda. There is inclusivity there. Everybody, is taken care of. We are also to inspire excellence among fellow colleagues and learners. Our prospective fellows, so you are entering a profession, I've said it, very, very fulfilling, a very fulfilling profession. Your influence will extend beyond your lesson delivery. You should know that it will shape aspirations. You are going to build confidence. You are going to nurture character. You're going to prepare young people to become responsible citizens and future leaders. In fact, we call ourselves leaders that build leaders. Leaders that build leaders. Now, school leaders that are there, your role is equally significant. Great schools are built by teachers who lead by vision, integrity, empathy, and purpose. We in Lagos State, as the chairman of Lagos State Teaching Service Commission, I assure you of our unwavering commitment to strengthening the teaching profession through transparent recruitment, continuous professional development, effective performance, management, staff welfare, and strategic partnership that enhance educational quality across Lagos State. So do not be afraid. Yes, you have to work hard. You have to work hard, but do not be afraid. I have done it, and by the grace of God, I have succeeded, and I have achieved what others in other professions too have achieved. And I'm always proud to go out because I always see my students that are also doing very, very well. And that gives me a lot of satisfaction. The Lagos State government too is very, very passionate about development and welfare of teachers. In fact, in Lagos State, I don't want to tell you, but there's a particular date that we just hear Bagan, and everybody knows that it never fails. It has never failed. And it is very, very constant. Every year, salary is very, very constant for teachers. Lagos State also have something they call specific allowance for teachers. It's not for other civil servants, so it's only for teachers. And there's always been there's an approval now for teachers that are in the rural areas and those in underserved areas. So you are coming and your pocket will be very, very buoyant. So I really, really congratulate you. Together, let us build schools where excellence is the standard, innovation is embraced, character is nurtured, and every learner is empowered to achieve his fullest potential. So on behalf of the Lagos State government, who has magnanimously, granted an open door for recruitment of the fellows after completion of the fellowship program, because now we have about almost 500 in our service, and we give them permanent appointment. And that is because of the magnanimity of the governor. Mr. Governor, I thank you very much. So we thank God, and I wish you all the best. Everybody that is here, I wish you a fun-filled and purposeful day. Thank you for listening. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma, for your goodwill message. Teach for Nigeria Fellows are indeed leaders of leaders. We thank you so much for your support. Again, we cannot thank you. We cannot thank the Lagos State government enough for always supporting and for always opening their doors to us when we knock. We are super, super grateful. Thank you so much, Ma, for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. It's also my pleasure to acknowledge the presence of the Permanent Secretary of the Lagos State Teaching Service Commission, Mr. Rafi Olawale Ejukutu. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. So, to move us to the next item on our agenda, I told us at the beginning of this event that it might be virtual, but you would receive as much value and as much impact as you would have received if we were in a physical room. And I think for Nigeria, we keep to our word. We would have a fireside chat, and we have a super special, super esteemed, super incredible guest who has joined us today. I'm tempted to introduce her, but I would leave our CEO, Molade Adeniyi, to introduce our special guest and to take us on this fireside chat. Thank you so much, Molade.
Thank you so much, Precious. And thank you so much, Dr. Mo, for such an inspiring keynote. And also to Mrs. Peregrino as well. Thank you so much, Ma. I mean, I don't know how we would have been able to do this work without you saying yes and allowing us, giving us the access and, really sort of promoting and always championing our work. We're deeply, deeply grateful. So now this is, we've been having an amazing dessert all morning. Now we're about to put the icing on the cake. It's my absolute pleasure to be having this very short fireside chat with Wendy. Wendy Cup is, for those who don't know, so there may be prospective fellows in the room who may not know, Wendy is the CEO and co-founder of Teach for All. She originally founded Teach for America and led it for, I believe it's 24 years or so before transitioning out of that role as CEO and into the global role of Teach for All. I am so excited. Wendy, I know it is super early where you are, but thank you so much for joining us as we have this very, very brief conversation with our prospective fellows. Can I see all the welcome in the YouTube room, all the emojis, all the balloons and confetti?
It's such an honor to be with you all, truly.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Wendy. So Wendy, we thought it would be good to give the prospective fellows, a deeper understanding of why this work. And we thought who better to have this chat with than you. So I have a couple of curated questions, only about three or four or so, and I'm hoping that that will help our prospective fellows understand why this work is important, why this work was even started in the first place, and then really what part they have to play. And I know that you have seen this model in over 60 countries. You have deepened your understanding of what it means in different contexts. And I know that you always say we know our context best and we know what works best, but I know that you also have a wealth of knowledge that you can share with us. So very quickly, we're going to um, jump right in. So just tell us very, very briefly, when you decided to start Teach for America, why? Why did you decide to start this journey? What was it that you saw or that compelled you to say, you know what, I really got to do this?
Yeah. I was a college senior when I thought of this idea. I was at university and I had become more and more aware of just the inequities in our country. This country I live in thinks of itself as a land of equal opportunity, and I had just realized as a public policy major and just a concerned college student that it really isn't one, that where students are born does so much to predict where they end up. And I just felt that our generation was searching for a way to do something about those inequities. Um, and reflecting on my own journey, I knew that education had given me my freedom. Like it had enabled me to feel like the whole world was open to me. Um, and and one day I just had this thought. I mean, at the time, all the recruiters were banks and consulting firms just banging down our doors and asking us to commit just 2 years to work in their firms. And our generation was becoming known as the me generation. We just wanted to go work in banks and make a lot of money. I mean, that's what people thought. And I just thought, no, it's not the generation, it's the recruiters. So why aren't we being recruited as aggressively to commit 2 years to teach in our country's lowest income communities, our urban and rural communities? And that was the original idea. And I thought that it would be really important for kids growing up in those schools, but also that it would change the priorities of our generation if they're the real leaders in our age group were teaching for 2 years in those communities instead of working in banks. So that was the big idea. It's kept me going ever
Is there,
since.
I know this is probably a tough one, but is there one lesson, if you could pick one big lesson over the last, however many years, is
Yeah.
there one thing that you have learned that has really stood out to you?
I mean, as you know, Malade, there's so many lessons of this work, but I guess the synthesis of it all is that with enough leadership, we can change anything. Like I think when you get into this work, and all of you incredible teaching fellows out there will see just the complexity of the challenge and the depth of it. And it starts way before we even get to school. And I guess what I've seen over time is that with enough people who are all on a mission to making sure that all kids have the support and opportunity to thrive, like enough people in a place working, some in schools and some in the ministries and some as advocates and innovators outside the system and civic leaders working from the private sector, like enough people in a place who are just deeply committed to that, things really start changing for kids. So that in the end, I think that's the core lesson. And of course, that's what we've come to call collective leadership across the Teach for All network, and just believing that we need to develop more and more of the collective leadership needed if we're really going to realize this vision that brings us all together, of all kids having the kind of education and support and opportunity that enables them to shape a better future.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about this leadership, because a lot of times when people ask us about the work that we do, even the fellows, you know, yesterday when I was running a session, one of them said, "Oh, we are teacher recruitment." And we try to change that mindset and talk about we're actually building leaders. What does that truly mean to you? Because I know you say it over and over and over again that it's young leaders, is the idea of young leaders that are the frontier of educational inequity that will truly change and transform the system. So this idea of I'm a teacher versus a leader, can you kind of demystify that for us? And what when we say teacher leaders or we say leadership in education, what does that really mean to you?
Yeah. I mean, I guess when I first came to this, the idea was more like we need to build a movement among the people in our generation who, I mean, many of them may have had a deep down instinct, like wanting to give something back to their communities, wanting to teach. But so many of us grow up with so many messages. Like, I think we all need to, and we've seen so many of the people of the Teach for All community go out and do things to elevate the image of teaching and strengthen the teaching profession, and we need to do that. But meanwhile, many of us have heard a lot of messages that might lead us not to make the choice to commit ourselves long term to that profession, and yet could bring so many skills to this endeavor. And so over time, I guess that was the idea at the beginning, like let's recruit the people who are most highly sought after by every sector. People who may have wanted to teach, people who may have been engineers or computer science majors or politics majors or whatever, but who have demonstrated leadership skills to say, let's I mean, there's no greater opportunity for leadership than teaching, right? Like, especially teaching in our most under-resourced communities, where really succeeding as a teacher is all about, creating the vision and mobilizing kids and families to get there and doing everything in our power to make it happen. Like, that is the ultimate act of leadership. And ultimately then that experience, and of course some of this, like we've seen over time, that experience is so transformative for those teachers, and they go on, and all over the world we've seen this now, and exercise the most incredible leadership, starting incredible schools and changing policies and starting new social innovations. Like, in the end, I mean, this was never meant to be, we need a lot of effort going into teacher recruitment and training and all. I mean, I don't want to minimize that because I think it's a big part of the solution. But I think what you realize when you get into this is that we need to change a lot of things. Like, we need to change our teacher development systems, but we also need to change the way schools are designed and figure out how to really leverage technology for good in this picture, and how to take pressure off of schools in the first place through addressing some of the social challenges outside of schools. Like, there's just so much, and that's going to take a lot of people exercising agency and working together to affect the really systemic changes that we need to see.
I like that. Prospective fellows, I hope you're hearing that. This is such incredible work. Sometimes I feel like I need to get on the field as well and, just truly get into the trenches. But Wendy, Teach for All network partners spans over 60 countries, like I said earlier. And I'm wondering whether you can think of a Nigerian story that stands out to you, or maybe something about Teach for Nigeria that maybe has always been at your very heart, and maybe you could just share that with us today.
There have been so many. First of all, I think you all know, I hope everyone knows. I mean, Teach for Nigeria is the largest, one of the very first network partners of Teach for All on the African continent. You're such a lighthouse for the region and have done so much to contribute to our global network. And I just feel so lucky to have been kind of alongside in that journey, and to have gotten to have so many, I guess, touch points, and to have seen so much of Teach for Nigeria over time, from meeting the first, the founders who had the inspiration to bring this effort to Nigeria, to the incredible board members and supporters, to the fellows. I mean, I still remember these days where we visited Kaduna State and watched teaching fellows with 150 students in their class, figuring out how to get them all in teams and actually making real progress on advancing their foundational learning to some of, Dr. Mo's comments earlier. I remember visiting Ogun State and having a whole conversation with the fellows who were there about how one day they will show, like, Ogun State itself can be a proof point. Like, we can show there what enough people all on the same mission, all working together, can do to change aggregate outcomes for kids. Meeting some of your teaching fellows who are just having such an amazing immediate impact. So I'm so grateful for just all the incredible brilliance and commitment that so many Nigerians have put into this movement. And as you know, Malade, I mean, our global board chair came from Teach for Nigeria. So many of our team members, so many of the leaders in the alumni community. So you all are really fueling our global movement as much as you're fueling the movement there in Nigeria.
Oh, thank you so much, Wendy. And fellows, I hope you're hearing that you're about to join an incredible movement of leaders that's truly, truly transforming education in Nigeria and really across the continent and globally as well. Wendy, I want to turn to the fellows for a bit. Many of them are listening, and with a mixed feeling, mixed bag, excitement, a little bit of nervousness, not sure what the first day will be. Some of them have never taught in classrooms before. Some of them have zero educational background. And I'm wondering whether there's one or two or maybe three things that you could share with them as they step into their classrooms for the first time later on this year.
Yeah. This work is so hard. And I know that, I mean, from spending so much time with so many teaching fellows over time, and even seeing my own kids now going into their first day of their first year, et cetera. So there's nothing harder. I mean, I really don't know that there's anything harder. And I guess one thought is just let yourself know that. I mean, feel affirmed. I mean, this is hard, but you're not alone. You're with so many others. I guess I think of two things to share. One, I've just seen the power. This work is so hard at every level, but when we just determine, like, we're going to keep putting one foot in front of the other, it's amazing where that takes you. Like, just don't even think about leaving or not continuing. Like, if you put all of your energy into just persevering, it's amazing what happens. I mean, I just see it so universally. Like, it seems impossible. I don't know. I mean, you may find yourself in a situation where it just seems things are so daunting. How will I ever make a difference in this? But if you keep showing up and you keep putting in your all, you wake up one day and realize, wow, like, it did make a difference. And in the process, you learned so much. The other thing I would just say is, I think the most central lesson we've learned about what it takes to succeed as a teacher is that relationships are everything. And you may have a lot of people coming at you, including all of us at Teach for Nigeria and Teach for All, and all telling you, it becomes very overwhelming, all the things you need to do. And probably all those things are important, but the most important thing is deeply getting to know your students, their families, the other teachers in the schools. Like, so when all else fails, just put yourself in relationship with your kids and families and the other teachers. And I think as you really genuinely build authentic relationships with them, everything starts making sense, and more things become possible. So I think just knowing that that's really the key, and try to put the noise away and focus on that, can take you far.
Thank you, Wendy. And I'm reminded of that quote that says, people don't really care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's why relationship building is so important. And I like the charge where you say, keep showing up every day. And it's just that getting up and, telling yourself, I'm going to be there, I'm going to do that work. And one day you don't even realize when the actual shift happens. As we begin to wrap up this our very short fireside chat, Wendy, I wonder what's your hope for education globally? Um, what are some things that you're excited about, and what are some things that that maybe really just still keeps you up at night? If you could share
Mm.
that with us, I think that'd be great.
You know, I think we need to prioritize education so differently all over the world. I don't know if it's my age, but it's so clear to me now that what we have in our classrooms is what we will have in the future in our world, right? And so if we want to put this world of ours, our communities, our countries, our global society on a different trajectory, we need to start in our classrooms. And that means we need to develop empathy and love and care among our students. We need to develop their leadership, right? Like their sense of agency, their awareness of themselves and their communities and the world, their problem solving, critical thinking skills. Like we can reshape the world by reshaping what happens in our classrooms. And I just wish that all the world leaders understood that. But we can start. And again, just go back to where I started in this, like leadership is everything. Like we can do this, like more and more collective leadership. You all can do this in Nigeria. Like, you know, the few, the mighty, and a growing force of Teach for Nigeria folks working in deep partnership and collaboration with many others in the system. Like you can start creating first the classrooms that show people what's possible, the schools that show people what's possible, and then at the whole communities. And then you can start reshaping the national policies as well. And I've started seeing that in country after country. Like initially I saw it in the US, but now I'm seeing it all over the world among network partners that are reaching the 15-year mark, the 20-year mark, where it's like the movements they've built are genuinely just producing aggregate improvements for kids. And that's where we're all trying to get in the end.
I love that. I love the power of, I mean, you've spoken against the power of the collective leadership, but I think I'm beginning to now dream and imagine what a classroom could look like that truly transforms not just the school, but transforms the entire country as well. So, fellows, you have the charge. You're going out there. I mean, I was saying to them the other day, Wendy, I said, this mission, should you choose to accept it, trying to be a little bit of James Bond here, is for you to take on the full responsibility of ensuring that every single child, every single learner in your classroom not only thrives or not only learns, but continues to thrive and truly becomes the leader that that we know that lies within them. So it's a lot of work. It's not that easy. Two more questions and we'll wrap up.
Hmm.
One question, the fellows may be wondering, how can I connect with Teach? Is there any um, place or how me as a fellow can connect with Teach for All? I mean, maybe you can just share sort
Yeah.
of very high level what's in there for them because we do get that question sometimes as well.
Totally. Yes, please. And hopefully the Teach for Nigeria team will first of all share with everyone how you can subscribe to this Connect newsletter because it comes out every, I think, month or so, and it has lots of opportunities for teaching fellows and alumni all over the network to engage with each other, learning opportunities, fellowship programs, etc. So that's one very easy way. But we've launched something at Teach for All called the Global Institute for Shaping a Better Future. And it's really meant to be a place where educators all over the world, from all over our network and also from outside of our network, who are kind of on the forefront of reshaping education in order to equip young people, students, to shape a better future for themselves and all of us, to learn together about how to do that. How do we reshape what's happening in our classrooms? How do we affect systemic change at the policy level? So over time, once you get your footing in your communities and in your schools, I hope you'll join into those learning opportunities to contribute your insights from your communities and engage with really a global set of leaders who are all about reshaping what happens in our classrooms to reshape what happens in the future for our world.
Great, awesome. So there's two opportunities. There is the Connect Network and the Global Institute, which I personally have taken advantage of and has been absolutely amazing. So there's something for everyone. If you're truly looking to shape a better future in education, the Global Institute is definitely one that you must connect with. And I love that it's for those outside of the network as well. So for our friends who are joining us today, there is also an opportunity for you. So, Wendy, I'd like you to maybe just share last words from you um, for our fellows
Yeah.
as they go out. Something that maybe you want to leave them with that I hope carries them through the next 2 years.
Well, that's a tall order. First of all, I just want to thank you all for making this incredible commitment. I mean, we always say like the toughest thing is what you all are doing. I mean, 2 years of pouring your hearts and souls into this work, all in pursuit of helping put your kids and communities on a different trajectory. That's the greatest gift. So just thank you. I really look forward to learning from you all, what you learn about what it takes to really do that. And over time, we across Teach for All have come together around this vision that by 20 years from now, we'll have whole communities in every part of the world that are showing what's possible, like proof points at the community level showing all kids can thrive. And I know from meeting so many Teach for Nigeria people over time that you all in Nigeria will be some of the first to create those proof point communities. Despite all the challenge, your leadership and commitment and brilliance is going to make it happen. And I can't wait to learn from you in that pursuit.
Amazing, amazing. Come on, can you please help me give it up for Wendy? The round of applause, the balloons again. I love balloons and confetti. So balloons and confetti. And just to say a very, very big thank you on behalf of the board, the management, the entire staff at Teach for Nigeria. Wendy, we say very, very, very big thank you for joining us for this very brief fireside chat, but very impactful. So fellows, here you have it. Um, just the kids are waiting, the learners are waiting, and the leader within you is just, eager to burst out. Thank you so much,
Amazing.
Wendy.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you.
Good luck with everything.
Thank you so much. Precious, we'll hand back over to you.
Thank you so much, Malade, and thank you so much, Wendy. It was a fireful chat indeed. Thank you so much for all that you said. Thank you so much for showing us, Wendy. Thank you so much for showing us what is possible. And thank you for choosing the road less traveled and, starting this movement that has impacted over 60 countries and countless, I'm sure there are millions, number of children. So our prospective fellows, I hope that you were indeed inspired. I'd nudge you and would really like to hear your reflections in the chat. Please, in the YouTube comments, kindly share the lessons, that stood out for you from these very fireful and very impactful sessions. I think it's very comforting and wholesome. We hear that the work is hard, right? You hear from your coaches that the work is hard. You hear at the institute that the work is hard. You have heard, I'm sure, from our CEO that the work is hard, but hearing from Wendy, I'm sure it's consolating, right? And it just lets you know how thoughtful, right? Teach for Nigeria and the Teach for All network is, right? It gives some sort of consolation and sort of visibility to let you know that you are not alone and you have people from all over the world who are cheering you on and who can't wait to witness the transformation that you would make happen, not just in your classrooms, but in your communities. Again, to our prospective fellows on YouTube, be sure to like the chat, and you can to like our YouTube channel. All you have to do is close the live chat feature and just press the like button. And also, of course, it's not too late to share this link with anyone who you know should be here. But thank you so much. Thank you so much, Wendy, and thank you, Molade, for chairing such inspiring session. We are rounding up, but we would want to hear from two fellows who are, so one is an SLD fellow who will be graduating tomorrow. And permit me to break protocol again and mention that tomorrow, the 30th of July, we are graduating our 9th cohort of Teach for Nigeria Fellows. Those who joined us in 2024 will be graduating tomorrow, and also our 5th cohort of School Leadership Development Leaders. It's such an eventful, such a busy and inspiring time for us at Teach for Nigeria. And I'm super excited. You'll be hearing from Mr. Olugbenga Adejanko, who is the Director of Appeal, Petition and Discipline, and who is also a 2025 SLD Fellow, who will be graduating tomorrow. So, Mr. Adejanko, if you're ready, we are excited to hear from you.
Good afternoon to every one of us. I hope I am audible enough. I want to say...
Yes, sir, you are. You're audible.
Good afternoon. Yeah, thank you. I want to say good afternoon to each and every one of us. I am so excited and privileged, honored to be invited today to also be part of this event. I do not take all of this for granted. Quickly, let me run through distinguished board members, our own amiable CEO, Molade Adeniyi, and permit me to also recognize the program director, our own boss Ede Ogidan, the one I call the gentle giant. All team leads here, all our coaches, all the Teach for Nigeria staff, and to you prospective fellows and all other stakeholders here present. Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to this epoch-making ceremony. I want to say that at every engagement of Teach for Nigeria, it has always been a bomb. Today's ceremony and participation is also not an exception. Right from the key speaker to our own Wendy. Wow, I'm so impressed. And I think more committed at this point. I was introduced. My name is Olugbenga Adejanko, and I currently serve as the Director of Appeal, Petition and Discipline at the Ogun State Teaching Service Commission. Yes, for my over 24 years in the service of the Ogun State, which cuts across so many sectors, agencies, I've worked in the hospital management, the health sector. I've had my brief stint at the works and infrastructure, also at the governor's office, the political affairs department and many agencies, and now finding myself in the education sector. I thought I've seen it all anyway, until Providence and my inquisitiveness and curiosity brought me, led me in contact to meet with Teach for Nigeria. Fortunately for me, and as I said, it was Providence. I was made the desk officer to attend to all that has to do with Teach for Nigeria at my current office. And like I said, my curiosity led me to begin to wonder, what is this thing that you people do? And then one thing led to the other. And today, if I begin to tell you my journey into the Cohort 5 of the School Leadership Development Program, I think I am here to also charge you, to encourage you, and to tell you that it's going to be fun-filled, challenging, and then worthwhile at the same time. Today, I look back, that journey that started a year ago is gradually coming to a graduating level. Tomorrow, I'll be graduating alongside my other 90 colleagues at the leadership level. And it has been fun. Like I said, it will permit me to share my experience, especially to all our prospective school leaders here this morning. I want to tell you that your intention, your decision to be part of this program, I want to believe it's not by accident. Even though some of us might have been here by referral or things like that. Yeah. But I want to let you know that your intentionality matters at this point. Your intentionality matters at this point. You cannot afford to just be the bandwagon. Don't join the bandwagon effect. You need to be yourself and loosen up so as to be able to pick what you need to pick at this institute. And yeah, okay, let's say when I, just like you are today, I remember this day when we also arrived at the institute. We were all there. Particularly, I was so excited. I was equally curious and eager to know what lay ahead. We're all there, standing, row by row, being attended to by all those beautiful faces, putting up smiles, our coaches, everyone there. If there's one thing that I also I took away from that institute, it was the fact that the institute was a leveler. A leveler in what sense? A leveler in the sense that you have to forget, you live in your office, the paraphernalia of your office. That status of I am the director, that status I am the principal, you leave it behind you. And what are you there for? You are there, and everybody is a leveler because we are all learners. Yes, as you journey along during the training, you begin to see a different you, a different version of you. And that is if you are committed. And so during those period of institute, anytime we meet online, which is virtual like we're doing now, we were all bounded together by one thing, by one shared commitment. And that commitment is to strengthen school leadership and transform educational outcomes for every Nigerian student or the learners in Nigeria. Yes, we may teach for Nigeria, just like from the history so far, we are still extending to few states, and by the grace of God, we are hoping to cover the entire 36 states, including FCT, in the nearest future. With your commitment, with each and every one of us joining hands together, it is achievable. So, like I said, technology, yes, today we may say technology may have separated each and every one of us physically. But even at that, as leadership transcends any boundary. Look at Wendy speaking to us all the way from America. That's leadership. It transcends boundary. The thing here is the commitment, is the passion. So the willing heart and the open mind to do what is needful. And at the pre-institute, pre-service institute, I want to tell you, you are entering into the institute today. It's not just for an orientation. Take that. It is the foundation of your entire fellowship. Entire fellowship in the sense that it is a lifetime fellowship. In fact, when we were doing our retreat and we were made to understand that it is not the end, because a lot of us, even personally, I was thinking, oh, after the fellowship, I'm going to rest and I'm going to relax a bit. But at the end of the day, I realized that it goes beyond this 1 year a program. It's a lifetime kind of a program. And that's why I said it is a foundation for your entire fellowship. This is an area where mindsets are challenged and rebuilt. At the institute, your mindset will be challenged. That conventional thinking, that notion, that general belief that, oh, because somebody is not doing something, it is no longer my business, in as much as the parent is not doing this, it's none of my business. That is not for leaders to think. Leaders, we are to begin to envisage challenges. We are to begin to prefer solutions, workable solutions, and sustainable ones to all these challenges. As leaders, we are no longer to comfort ourselves with that office alone. And I want to especially speak to the school leaders, prospective fellows here this morning, that what you have goes beyond the daily administrative routine and what have you, every other little schedules on our table. No. The Teach for Nigeria Institute is to develop us in all areas of leadership. And if nothing, then there's these three key words that have come to live with me. The first one is commitment. The second one is collaboration, and the third one is cooperation. As a leader and as a transformative leader that we are becoming, if you must be an impactful, positively impactful leader, then these three key words must be part of you. You are at this training because you choose to, intentional. Then you must be committed. Your commitment will make you to, after all said and done, don't forget that there are going to be challenges. You'll be meeting with challenges. And your commitment alone will make you to surmount all of this. Then alongside your cooperation and collaboration, your ideas you can then begin to share with people around you, with your colleagues, with the communities, with other stakeholders. When you're able to use those key words, then the sky is just the beginning. And I want to also charge you that in the coming days and weeks, you will be engaged in deep conversations, interactive sessions, and critical reflections. You will explore Teach for Nigeria's vision for educational equity. Yes, we've heard since morning from all our previous speakers that Teach for Nigeria are not teachers recruiter, but they are leaders teachers. They are growing and building leaders. Ordinarily, I may have told myself that I am not fit for this because I am not a practicing teacher. But by virtue of the schedule on my table, I realize that in my own little way, I am equally a leader. I can influence certain things. I can, by my influence, change some things that will trickle down to that one child. And even off my table, as a community leader, what effort am I also putting in place to reshape the lives of those little ones, those children around and within my community? So, to all the leaders in the house, I want you to ground yourselves in the theory of problem and theory of change and learn how to drive sustainable impact within your schools and communities. Yes, I want you to begin to think beyond and outside the box. At this institute, I want to tell you that it is not without challenges, yes, but I want to also encourage you to do what? To understand your weaknesses and identify your strengths, because you will all be putting all of this into play while at the institute. Yes, this institute will push you beyond the title of I'm a principal, I am a vice principal, I am a director, or I'm an administrator. No, and like I said earlier, it's a leveler. You leave that status behind. We are all here as students to learn from our various coaches. So at this point, I can only begin to tell you and charge you to participate actively. You need to ask thoughtful questions during your sessions, both the physical one and the virtual one. Always ask thoughtful questions. Yes, we are leaders already in our various schools and communities. We are here to fine-tune what we already have in us. How best we can make all of these things to come into fruition and then be very useful to people around us. So be ready to share your experiences. Be ready to learn deeply from your coaches, the facilitators, and your peers. Yes, you wonder why your peers. Yes, because our experiences vary. And that was why I said understand your weaknesses and identify your strengths. If you do, then you'll be able to learn from the peers. What you don't have in your kitty might be there in someone else's kitty. And then all you need to do is be humble, be teachable.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for such insightful message. I hope that every school leadership development fellow in the house, prospective fellow in the house, has taken notes. Willing hearts and open minds are indeed all that is required to make that change in your classroom. And of course, even as you proceed with the virtual aspect of the Pre-Service Training Institute and as we prepare for the physical aspect of the Pre-Service Training Institute. We'll also be hearing from a 2025 fellow, HMB Honor, who would be delivering a very brief message to our 2026 prospective fellows. So 2026 PFs in the house, I'd urge you to listen and glean wisdom from a predecessor who is walking the path currently. HMB, if you're ready, we are. Thank you.
All right. So I don't know if you can see me right now. Okay. Hello, please, can you hear me?
Yes,
All right.
HMB, you're audible. We can hear you.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay. It is an honor to take the 2026 Pre-Service Training Institute welcome speech for Teach for Nigeria Cohort 10. Permit me to acknowledge the leadership of Teach for Nigeria, our distinguished guests, our coaches, my fellow fellows, and everyone who had continued to champion the vision of educational equity in Nigeria. And to the focus of today, our Cohort 10 prospective fellows, welcome. Today is about you. Congratulations on making it this far. You were selected not just because of what you know, but because Teach for Nigeria sees in you the potential to become the kind of leaders our classrooms and host communities need. My name is Onapayos Ejembi, a 2025 Teach for Nigeria Fellow, currently serving in Ayekbe Comprehensive High School, Ayekbe, Ijebu, Ogun State. And my story began at the Pre-Service Training Institute. Before Pre-Service Training Institute, I had taught before, and I had watched others teach. And I honestly believe teaching was simply helping learners to read, write, and pass examinations. Then Pre-Service Training Institute changed everything. I discovered that teaching is not about transferring knowledge. It is about shaping lives and building the future of a nation. More importantly, I learned that educational equity is not giving every learner the same thing. It is giving every learner what they need to succeed. That lesson came alive in my classroom. I met learners with different abilities and background, and I realized that every learner learns differently. When I intentionally began meeting learners at their points of need, I saw growth that reminded me why this work matters. Another lesson that transformed me was learning to see dead spaces as opportunities. Instead of allowing free period to pass by, I started a public speaking club. Learners who once struggled to speak confidently now stand before the entire school and make presentation during assembly. Those unused moments became an opportunity to build confidence and leadership. Pre-Service Training Institute also taught me to think systematically. At one point, student suspension were becoming a regular occurrence in my school. Instead of focusing on behavior, I looked for the root cause and identified the major influence amongst the learner. I engaged that student positively, and gradually that culture began to change. That experience taught me that lasting change happens when we solve causes, not just symptoms. Perhaps the greatest gift Teach for Nigeria has given me is the habit of reflection. Reflection has taught me that every challenge carries a lesson, and that every experience is an opportunity to become a better teacher, leader, and change maker. To our prospective fellows of Cohort 10, embrace every moment of this institute. Learn deeply, ask questions, build meaningful relationships, and allow the experience to shape you. The next few weeks will stretch you. It will challenge your assumptions. It will challenge your assumptions and reshape the way you see leadership. Embrace every moment of this institute. Again, because one day you will look back and realize that this was where your true transformation began. But before I let you go, I want you to hold on to this one thought. Every child you meet is someone's future. The question is, when they remember you from now, what part of that future will they say you helped them build? May your answer to that question guide every lesson you teach, every decision you make, and every life you touch throughout this fellowship. My name is Onapayos Ejembi, and once again, welcome to the Institute, and thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ajambi. Thank you so much. Indeed, lasting change happens when we solve causes and not symptoms. I don't think we'll ever get tired of hearing all the transformational work that you and your fellow fellows are doing in the classroom. Well done, and super thank you. We are rounding off, but I'd like to invite the acting head of training, leadership, and development at Teach for Nigeria, Jonathan Oviara EJ, to walk us through expectations and, of course, close us out for today. Jonathan, we are ready to have you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Precious. Please confirm that you can hear.
Yes, loud and clear.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being on the call. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. And most importantly, I want to say thank you to every prospective fellow who answered to our call. I'm here to tell you one thing, that as we begin this journey, you already know that this is not the first time that we're meeting, but as we continue on this journey, I want you to remember that we hold you on a clear and an ambitious standard, and we expect that as we continue, that you show up fully, be present in every one of your class, every one of your sessions, the live one, even your independent time. Please prioritize being dutiful, right? And prepare for every session. Your growth depends on your level of engagement, right? Take ownership of your learning, because you are the one who will eventually go beyond the 2 years to begin to not just impact your world, but to impact the community at large. And I also want you to embrace this growth opportunity that has been given to you. Remember, right? This is an opportunity for you to lean into your discomfort. I understand that the journey may not be as easy as it looks. Most people on the call, most of our speakers mentioned that as a teacher, it is really hard. So I want you, in those moments where it is hard, that you should practice professionalism, right? Honor every timeline and look inward and tell yourself that, yes, my commitment is to the one child, right? But it's also about me becoming better. It's also about me finding myself, discovering my leadership. So I'm going to be telling you that also that as you continue in this engagement, I need you to make sure that you complete every pre-work that you have been called or that has been sent to you. Please make sure that you complete there and engage respectively with your peers in your group. There'll be moments that people will step on your toes, but I need you to understand that just like Boladi shared in our first day, that our core values, right? It is important that we prioritize our core values and practice professionalism at the highest level. And know that one thing, that you are not alone, which is why collaboration is a strong part of what your journey what we expect you on this journey. So you need to collaborate, not just with your peers, collaborate with your coaches, collaborate with your facilitators, collaborate with everyone that has been placed on this journey to help you learn and grow yourself and build yourself to the level that you would not just impact your classrooms, you will also impact the community and the society at large. And I also want to just tell you that every section, every task, every opportunity that will be presented to you is an opportunity to prepare you to lead for change beyond your classroom. As we close, I need you to understand that you were not selected for this program by chance. You were handfully picked. Remember when Richard was sharing, when Bolade was sharing, it was highlighted that out of over 38,000 people, 550 of you were carefully selected. That must mean something to you. It meant something to me that you are special. You are not here by chance. You are carefully selected, which means you are needed. Every opportunity that you have to make a difference, consider it something worthwhile. Today marks the beginning officially of your transformational journey, and the one that, of course, will stretch you. And then I know that all of this that we have designed is designed to help shape your leadership and prepare you to create that lasting impact in your world. Over the coming weeks, I know that you're going to be gaining knowledge, building skills, and more importantly, developing your mindset from what you already know already. I need you to stay committed, stay open, and stay grounded. Let this be your posture, right? Your posture should be what? To learn deeply, to lead boldly, and to serve selflessly when given the opportunity eventually after your induction. Welcome on board to the 2026 Pre-Service Training Institute. Our vision remains one vision, endless possibility, inspired to lead and ready to transform. Thank you, everyone. I hand over back to Precious.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Jonathan is wearing his principal hat already. So, to our prospective fellows, please, 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 everything that he has said, take it seriously. And thank you so much for staying with us till now. To our government partners, to members of Teach for Nigeria board, to friends of Teach for Nigeria, our keynote speaker, CEO Teach for all, every single person, and of course our PFs and team members, the Teach for Nigeria team. Thank you so much for staying with us till now. We have come to the official close of the 2026 Teach for Nigeria Pre-Service Training Institute opening ceremony. I'm sure that you are leaving inspired. I'm sure that you are leaving ready. And I'm sure that you have, experienced the mindset shift and you are poised to take on all that this journey has to offer from you. Destiny is calling, and we hope that you will say yes when you eventually get that letter to resume in your placement school for the one Nigerian child. I'm also delighted to remind you that we are graduating our 9th cohort and our 6th cohort of fellows and school leadership development fellows respectively tomorrow. It's such an auspicious time for us. It's a groundbreaking, history-making moment, and we invite you to join us by 11 a.m. West African time. You can join us on YouTube, and you can also join us on Facebook. We'll be streaming this event live And we hope that you come in, join us to celebrate and to honor them. And as a prospective fellow, it could also serve as a moment. So you add this to one of the things to look forward to, right? Also follow Teach for Nigeria across all social media platforms to stay updated. And of course, please, 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 stay engaged. Give your full self to this, and we promise you, we'd like you to bookmark this video. This video will be available on YouTube. Save it, and hopefully, after 2 years, you come back to this video, and I'm sure that when you come back to this video, you would attest to the fact that Teach for Nigeria kept every single promise that was made in this room today. Thank you so much, everyone. We have come to the official close of today's opening ceremony, and we hope to see you tomorrow virtually at the Teach for Nigeria 9th cohort and 6th cohort graduation ceremony. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Precious.